It is the weekend, so what you need right now is no complicated analysis with lots of technicalities, but you need solid and reliable profits. So that's why I'm gonna share with you one of my most favorite stocks over the last couple of years and also years to come. So stay tuned. Right after the intro, we're gonna jump into one of the most no-brainer stocks out of the Nasdaq right now. Let's go. Hello and welcome to another video by HKCM Global. My name is Joe, and because I do not want to keep you waiting any longer, let's look at these numbers here. So starting out of the early 2000s with just a couple of $1 million in earnings here and there. Ever since 2015, I would say, we have just started a rocket ship of solid growth with only minor setbacks here, for example, in 2022. But overall, the trend is completely unbroken here for this company. And don't you worry, I'm gonna reveal the name of this company in just a second. But look at this chart. This is just picture perfect growth the way investors would dream of. No major setbacks, no plateauing whatsoever, just one solid curve upwards. So last chance right now for you to have a guess. We're talking about Netflix. And if you have been an investor to the stock market for a couple of years already, you probably remember that back in 2020, for example, there was a lot of talking that maybe now Disney is going to really push the margins of Netflix down. And there have been a lot of competitors in the streaming market trying to overtake Netflix as the primus of this sector. However, Netflix has proven as able to defeat all of them. And today, Netflix in the streaming sector still reigns supreme and is one of the most solid companies out of the Nasdaq right now. And to bring you up to date on the development over the last couple of years, let's look at this Netflix chart here. We're here on the 1 week chart, and that's what I mentioned. So back in 2021, there was a real high for Netflix, and ever since there has been a deep and violent correction. So this was the time when all of the tech sector has corrected down quite significantly, and Netflix lost a whopping 75%. So that is a major hit. And back then I scaled into Netflix way too small. Sadly, I would have wished that I had scaled in way bigger. Well, I didn't, and shame on me for not doing so, but that's the pain. You can just not trade every single analysis out there. We analyze 200 markets on a daily basis. Link down there in the description if you are interested in becoming a subscriber to this service. But again, our analysis here, once again, picture perfect. We had a long-term trading entry back in October 2023. And ever since, we're not taking the middle of this target zone here, which was perfectly hit, but we are just taking the upper boundary of this target zone. And from this upper boundary of the target zone up until the lower boundary of the short target zone that we have established in June of this year, this would have been a 250% of profit in 1.5 years with, again, no real major setbacks here, no worries, no sleepless nights. Just picture perfect gains the way every investor dreams of. And again, ever since this short target zone here that was successfully hit and again left in June of this year, that we also brought on the chart, of course, in advance to take advantage of this sell-off here, we are again roughly 15% in the profit. And full disclaimer here, I myself have not shorted Netflix because I'm just a huge believer in this company. So I used this box, of course, to take some profits, but I did not go short Netflix. However, therefore, what excites me even more is that if we go over here then to the 4-hour chart on Netflix, I can gladly announce to you that we are about to enter our long-term entry here again for Netflix, another long-term entry. So for everybody who wasn't able to make use of our entry target zone back then, or for everybody who cashed in on all of his profits over here, this again is another perfect opportunity to get into the market, and I myself will do so as well. And sadly, once again, as I'm sharing this with you, this target zone is super imminent. Again, yes, it is a long-term entry, but as this target zone is also pretty imminent and about to be met by price action. So right now we're just trading 6-7% above our entry target, which is the reason why sadly I'm right now not able to share the exact coordinates of this target zone here with you and the exact price levels. Just as a courtesy to our paying subscribers, it would not be fair to completely free of charge share those valuable information with the exact price targets here for free on YouTube. But of course, every single subscriber to our service can get the complete entry and exit coordinates with real-time updates. But again, you watching this, you are no dummy. I mean, you can see for yourself that we're probably talking about the area of roughly 95 to 75 on the lower boundary. But again, the exact levels in here for the optimum extension of this wave C and therefore the overreaching wave 4, which would be concluded by this C wave, I can sadly not share with you in full detail. However, what I can share with you again is, as we go back on the weekly time frame here on Netflix, our outlook then on what will happen from this target zone onwards. Because as you just remember, we'd be looking at roughly the area of 95 to 75 on the lower threshold. So let's just maybe take 85 for starters. So out of this target zone, which would then be here, but we do not have it on this chart, as this chart is the long-term outlook, the weekly time frame, and this is a rather short-term target zone here then. I mean, not a short-term target zone, it is a long-term entry, but it is a long-term entry calculated by an extension or therefore retracement on a lower time frame. This is why we do not have it on here. But of course, the price levels and entry remains completely valid. So starting from roughly $85 up until the top of our most imminent price target here. So the wave 5 top, resulting then in the completion of the overreaching wave 1 top, we would still be looking at another 100% of gains, so another doubling in the stock of Netflix before we'd be expecting any more major setbacks and corrections in the market. So great news here on that front. Still a lot of headroom for Netflix before it is time to worry. But still, those price targets, those areas of 150 to 170, maybe 180-ish dollars are still quite a far ways off. And even if you're not a subscriber to our paid daily market analysis service, you can of course completely for free subscribe to this channel here, turn on the bell notifications so that you will not miss any updates on Netflix, because as just mentioned, Netflix is one of my favorites. So that's why I will make sure in due time to share updates with you on Netflix. Share of course with you the successful hit and validation of our target zone, which I am expecting in the next couple of weeks. So up until then, see you in the next one. And of course also see you in the next videos next week on another topic. Take care. Have a good weekend. Bye bye.